protesters are taking to the streets in Venezuela after contested election results there. Protesters in northern Venezuela pulled down a statue of former President Hugo Chavez, and security forces clashed with protesters in Caracas, firing tear gas and rubber bullets. Those protesters are calling for President Nicolas Maduro to cede the election to opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez. Both sides are claiming victory. The U.S. says it has serious concerns over the results. It's asked to see the election data. So let's bring in ABC's Lama Hassan for more here. So, Lama, we've heard from the human rights group Foro, which says at least one person's been killed there already, and 46 people have been arrested in these protests. So what's the latest?
Well, as you just said, Trevor, protests have broken out across Venezuela. We've seen thousands of people protesting on the streets, angry at the election result, which they say is disputed. They believe that they are fraudulent. Clashes have erupted in some cities across, with protesters ripping down posters of Maduro, burning tires. And in central Caracas, protesters even marched towards the presidential palace, and they were chanting freedom, freedom, and they were also calling for the government to fall. Security forces were trying to push them back by firing tear gas and rubber bullets. And we know, as you rightly said, at least one person has died so far. We are also hearing that 46 people were arrested. We understand that the military is still out in force on the streets of Caracas, and as you can imagine, it is still quite tense there, Trevor.
So the U.S. wants to see the election data here, Lama. What do we know about that? And also, what does this whole overarching conflict mean for the U.S. relations in the region?
Yeah, so the election results showed that Nicolas Maduro was the winner, winning 51.21% of the votes. But the opposition leader, Edmundo Gonzalez, he claims that his campaign has proof that it won the election. Now, in terms of how the international community has been reacting, well, so far we know that the U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, is among some officials who are questioning whether the results reflect the will of voters in Venezuela, but not mentioning what this means for the U.S. sanctions policy towards Venezuela. A number of other Western and Latin American countries, as well as the UN, have called on the authorities to release voting records from the polling stations. Argentina taking a tougher stance, however, and is refusing to recognize Maduro's election victory. I think it all depends on what happens next. Trevor.
All right, Lama Hassan for us. Lama, thank you very much.